Car Cost Canada provides the dealer cost, a list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. The link is in the description below.
Welcome everyone to the Audi Q8. This is the new flagship SUV from Audi. Q8, first time ever using that name on a vehicle, and there's quite a lot to talk about in this car. And of course this video wouldn't have been possible without the help of Glenmore Audi that lent this car out to me for a little bit. Audi's Q8 is based upon the same platform as the Lamborghini Urus, the Bentley Bentayga, and the Porsche Cayenne. All of those cars are the flagships of their brands as well, and for this one it does things slightly differently to the Porsche and the Bentley. This is styled as a four-door coupe in the same way that the Urus is, with the frameless door, the hatchback design, and the sloping roofline. But thankfully it isn't like the coupe SUVs that we see from BMW and Mercedes with their X6 and GLE, for example. I'm hardly an admirer of those cars. The sloping roofline is far too pronounced, and to me there is no benefit to it. But Audi has done something a little bit differently by still calling this a coupe, but having that roofline extended far enough over the rear passenger's head that you aren't going to have the same sort of headroom issues like you would do in an X6 or GLE. Overall, I really like the looks of the Q8. It has the latest design language. That split headlight design I think is really clever. Additionally, the lights have that welcome display with that dancing motion for the headlights and the taillights. This exterior color is dragon orange, and Audi has a couple different appearance packages with the S-Line and the black optics look. It's the same as other vehicles in their lineup, and with the front grille, the surround for it Audi is calling the mask, and with that S-Line and black line package you can change the look of the front significantly. So just that portion around the grille can be body colored, or it can be a satin gray, or it can be a black. Personally, I would like to see the satin gray on this model. This orange is very bright, and there's quite a lot of it on the front of the car already. Having that grey surround on the grille I think would just settle it down just a touch. And for any of you curious, the doors cover the side sill, so if you're ever driving down a mucky bit of road, you aren't going to get the back of your pants dirty when you step in and out of the car. There's only one engine choice currently with the Q8. Here it's the 3-litre turbocharged V6 with 335 horsepower with the 8-speed transmission and quattro all-wheel drive with Ultra technology. There's also the 48-volt battery system in this vehicle that controls the anti-roll bars, and it's sort of like a next generation for the automatic stop-start system that this car has. It also has regenerative braking, so a little bit more energy can feed into the battery pack. What this means is, using the automatic stop-start, the car kicks in and out of life immediately, and a lot of the auxiliary systems like the climate control or the satellite system can run off of the 48-volt system rather than the engine. Now, driving the Q8, it feels like a really big Audi. There isn't too much going on with the steering, and this car actually has the dynamic ride with the 4-wheel steering, and you can just catch it in the wing mirror when you're driving along throughout town and going through a tight parking spot. And the dynamic ride will alter the different drive modes between your off-road and comfort and auto and dynamic. It feels collected and relaxed, but it doesn't have a total separation from the road like something like an A8 would. But the most notable thing about this Q8 is that it doesn't feel particularly fast. This V6 I've tested out in the Audi A6, and I thought it was brilliant in that vehicle. Now here in this car we're dealing with a lot more weight. I'm just going to put the numbers up on the screen here so you can see the curb weight of what both of those vehicles are. But it feels like a much slower car than I think it should be. I'm sure Audi's working on an SQ8 that might have a larger engine, but for a Q8 being the new flagship, I feel like it should have a bit more gravitas to it. It should have a little more punch to it. And inside we get the latest of Audi's tech as well. You get the virtual cockpit, the 2 touch screens with the larger one on top, pertaining to all of your vehicle settings, and then down below from that you'll have the climate control settings, and it very much feels like an Audi in here. Everything is just put together so well. There's beautiful materials throughout. This center console can slide forwards and backwards, and as it does, it kind of pivots up and down. Clever little feature there. Seats are excellent. View out is okay when it comes to the rear haunch. Of course, that is supporting the lift-back design, so it isn't going to have the same sight lines as a regularly designed mid-size SUV. Heads-up display is gorgeous and bright, and with the virtual cockpit, you have the Google Maps integration. That's another thing that I love showing off to people. Another excellent detail with this car is the 360-degree camera system. You can select different angles, zoom in and out, but you also have the augmented reality view as well, where you can move around the car. My only wish is the exterior color could carry over into the software. I'm sure that's a small fix and it's something they could do, but they've abstained from doing it for quite a while. The Q8 has 2 trims in Canada, the Progressive and the Technic. I'm in the Technic model with a few other choice upgrades, but some of the things you'll get in the standard Progressive include the 20-inch wheels, the 360-degree cameras, the heated and ventilated front seats, the stop-start system with the 48-volt battery system, the virtual cockpit again, the panoramic sunroof, the 4-zone climate control, and the heated steering wheel. Having this frameless window design, you'd think there would be perhaps a little more noise on the highway, but these windows are actually double glazed, adding another layer of refinement. That dual pane glass, if you want it, you have to go up to the Technic, but it covers all 4 windows. But this Technic will have the larger 21-inch wheels, the upgraded matrix LED lights, the leather dashboard, and the automatic rear sunshades. So some of the problems I have with the Q8 are just weird little detail things spread throughout the car. So I really don't like the rear sunshade application. I've been in quite a few premium luxury cars where you might have a little button that folds up from the base of the glass and covers it. With this one, it's a manual release. Why is it manual? It's totally out of the way for anybody to access from the rear passenger seats, and it just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So that's a little bit of a weird detail. The bottom of the door cards, they're hard, and for a flagship, I would actually kind of think they'd be a soft padded like the rest of the door. It has the same piano black face and surrounds that you'll find in the new A8, for example. I don't have a problem with the way that it looks, but I would prefer if this fine ash wood that's on the door cards and underneath that black element could become that black element. The touchscreens as standard have haptic feedback, so you have to press into the screen to activate something and you'll get a little vibration when the system recognizes that movement. I love how there's sort of halfway animations when you're on this top screen here. You can sort of rest your finger on whatever this tab is and then click into it further to select it. When you go into Apple CarPlay, that haptic feedback system disappears and you tap on everything, selecting through music or messages the same way that you do on an iPhone. There's a couple neat tricks here with the climate control system where sliding up and down to the side will be a fast select of a temperature control or fan speed. You can pinch together to sync the 2 systems. With this entertainment system, there is undoubtedly a bit of a learning curve you have to undertake to use this system, but all of the basic controls are usually right in front of you on this larger screen and they don't disappear and get lost on you. If you don't like that haptic feedback, you can go into the system settings and change that around to have a normal tap to touch like what you would on your phone. If you want to see a more in-depth look of this system, I have done an extended video with the A6 when I had that a couple months ago, so please check out that video to see all of the other neat tricks that you can play around with the climate control, the navigation system, and some of the other smaller settings. For rear seat comfort, it is extraordinary how much space is in the Q8. There's a bit of a drivetrain hump, so you probably won't fit 3 people abreast, but those 3 seats fold down individually, so the one in the middle can become your ski access. But if you're 6'4" like me, you're going to have plenty of headroom This is another benefit of Audi's coupe-like design. Lifting up that hatchback, you have more than enough space in the trunk. You can't hide away the security cover though. The spare tyre is taking up that space underneath the false floor. So overall, the Audi is incredibly luxurious, has all the tech, it has everything that an Audi should. But as a flagship vehicle, I personally was expecting perhaps a little more performance. But if you're looking for an alternative to your A8, just being comfortable, quiet, refined, but perhaps making a little bit more of the statement, then the Q8 might be the car for you. So that wraps up all of my thoughts about the Audi Q8. Again, as a flagship vehicle, I was perhaps expecting a little more performance, but as a luxury vehicle and a car that is the SUV alternative to an A8, it's hard to go wrong with this car. But still, I think you should test drive the Q8. Testing it against other manufacturers' flagships could be a little eye-opening, especially in the case of this mid-size SUV. And that's been this video here on Motormouth. My name's Max Landy. Thanks for watching.
Car Cost Canada provides the dealer cost, a list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. The link is in the description below.